in the last 3 days, the U.S. government sold $115 billion worth of debt. Isn't that great? Because, of course, we as American taxpayers are obligated to pay that money back. But, of course, everybody is happy because there was a lot of demand. There were a lot of foreigners willing to lend us all this money. Well, that's just great because, of course, we've got to pay it back with interest. Now, of course, while we're celebrating the fact that demand was there, that the Chinese showed up and the Japanese and everybody else, the reality is one day they're not going to show up. And we can't keep celebrating the fact that every time we hold an auction, people are foolish enough to bid. Because, one day they're not going to be there, and then the whole thing is going to fall apart. But for now, we can all, wipe the sweat off our brow because we made it through another Treasury auction where people were foolish enough to be there. I happened to be watching on CNBC earlier today. There was a discussion, and they were trying to figure out how the government was going to try to go about removing the moral hazards that they created. They're saying, look, we just bailed out all these Wall Street firms. We bailed out the investment banks. How are we going to let the markets know that this is not going to happen again? That the next time these banks get in trouble, we're not going to bail them out. We want people to know that there's a risk here. Because, of course, we want lenders to be careful about how they lend money. We don't want them just lending money recklessly, expecting to be bailed out. And the same thing with the employees of these brokerage firms. And sure, we don't want them to know that they can gamble with impunity, that it's heads they win, tails the taxpayer loses. And they said, so the government's going to have to diffuse this moral hazard. Well, they can't. It's impossible. They've already bailed everybody out. I mean, nobody's going to care what the government says. Right? Actions speak a lot louder than words. And no matter what the government says, we all know that they're going to bail everybody out. Because after all, if they're going to let the institutions fail, why didn't they do it the first time? Why would they bail them out now only to let them fail later? We've already proved to the market, our politicians have proved that they don't have the guts to let an institution fail. So no matter what they say now, nobody is going to believe them. Because when push comes to shove, if there's another situation where a major bank is about to fail, what are they going to do? Are they going to say, tough luck? No, of course not. If they were going to do that, they would have done that the first time. That is the point. By bailing everybody out, we've already showed our hand. We've told Wall Street, we've told creditors what the rules are. And the rules are, if you lend money to these major banks that are too big to fail, you can't lose because the government's got you covered. And we've also told the employees of these companies, take all this cheap money and make the biggest bet you can. Rake in as much bonus money as you can now because you know what? You got nothing to lose. Because when the bets go bad, we're going to be there. You cannot undo this. What we need is for politicians to stand up and do the right thing now. Not promise to do the right thing in the future as they're doing the wrong thing because the markets understand what the game is and that's the game they're going to play.